Hi, I'm Mr. Aaron Loh, Principal of PRI, and this is Ask Me Anything with Mr. Loh. That definitely is a significant part of PRI culture because we take in such capable students. I think naturally there is a desire to want to achieve, right? And part of it is also that in the first place, I think JC A-level curriculum is a inherently fairly stressful experience, right? It is maybe a year and a half, and you have a major exam at the end. And so that alone already makes it somewhat of a more stressful environment, right? You don't have much time on top of that. On top of your studies, you have your CCAs, you have all the other activities, you have new friends, new things to deal with, new subjects. So it is somewhat stressful, I think. But I would say that what we are hopeful is that we can build up a strong sense of community, strong relationships between students as well as between students and teachers that will cushion the stress, right? To make it not an unpleasant experience. Stress, I think, is inevitable, but it can be a happy, fulfilling, memorable, right, rich learning experience, even if it's very compressed and even though you have to deal with the A-levels at the end. So I would say there is some of that, right, in RI. But we do want to make it a good experience for everybody. But what we are also trying to develop in students is, can you compete with yourself? Can you want to better yourself instead of comparing yourself to somebody else, right? Can you compete, in other words, with a standard that you set and say, I want to achieve more, I want to top myself, right, in terms of where I am, and not be so concerned about how other people are doing, or to have this unrealistic picture of what an ideal Rafflesian ought to be, right? There is no ideal Rafflesian. We are all different. We all have different strengths. We all have different gifts. We are all also weak at different things. So can we accept that diversity and say, compete, yes, but let's compete with ourselves. I think I would prefer to think about it more as how does RI prepare students for life, right? Which most immediately perhaps is university, but beyond that it's also work and the rest of what life entails. The most simple answer to that is a good set of A-level results, right? A good set of A-level results will open up opportunities for you to go to university and all that, but actually you can get that in other places. You don't have to come to RI for that, right? But actually RI does much more than just give you a good set of A-level results. If a student fully participates, right, in the school experience, including CCAs, including forming good friendships and relationships with their peers, if they get involved in community service and all that, actually all this together holistically should develop those skills that are much more long-lasting. For example, how resilient are our students, right? Can our students take failure, take disappointment, take setbacks? Because these are inevitable in life. We develop in our students the ability to say, well, some of the best opportunities in life actually are unexpected, right? Life is actually an adventure. It's not a set of hoops that you jump through at specific points in time, and if you miss the hoop, then that's it, right? But actually it is exciting, it is unpredictable. But as a student, I have the resilience, I have the flexibility, adaptability, I have the broad set of skills, people skills, right? Empathy, right? Innovativeness, right? To say this is not just it may be a disappointment, but it is also an opportunity to explore things that we maybe didn't anticipate, maybe interests that we never knew we had, and to have that openness, right? And that excitement, right? To say life is exciting and life is interesting and I can make the best of whatever life throws at me. These are some of the very important qualities, right, that RI should develop in our students, so that as you go into life, no matter whether it's university or whether it's career or whether it's relationships or whether it's reskilling yourself later on, all this will stand you in really good stead, right? And you can look back at your time at RI and say, I learned all of this in RI, and all this has really helped me a lot through the rest of my life. Sure, let's go. Yeah, this is the Raffles Biodiversity Pond. It's one of my favorite areas in the school because I find it very soothing. After a stressful day, it's very nice to just take a walk here and see all the fish and the turtles and the plants. Sound of water is also very soothing. So really, I hope that in future, I think we will want to have more of such spaces around the school so that teachers and students can just relax a bit, and take a bit of a break and allow nature to kind of be our therapy, right? Be our healing, right, for a bit, yeah. RI as a school, right, has got a wide range of programs. We have a crazy number of CCAs, all right? So no matter what your interests, no matter what your talent, you can probably find a CCA that is going to help you to develop that talent further and really pursue that interest further. So that's one way, right? On top of that, we do have also enrichment programs, and we're going to add to those in the coming year so that there's even more opportunities for students to take both sort of short enrichment as well as long enrichment programs that helps you to pursue other interests. So for example, if you're interested in stuff like this, right, like sustainability, for example, you could be part of the annual or biannual water conference that we organize. Right? The other part of it that you can also do as part of the holistic experience in the school is take part in community activities, community service activities. So that's beyond VIA. We've got community and advocacy, many other programs that, if you're really interested in serving the community, serving maybe the underprivileged, you can sort of initiate that yourself, or you can join one of the programs that we already have. So there's a lot of these opportunities. Now, the other part of holistic school life is also relationships and community building, right? So in the coming year, we're going to have more such opportunities to just let our hair down and just play together as a community, right? And that's going to happen more regularly. You guys are already 17, 18 years old, right? We're not going to force you in a way to do some of these things, So you have to have that willingness to fully participate in a holistic school life. So what I want to encourage everybody is to say, there's so many things on offer. The school has got so many opportunities. Make the full use of it. But always make sure you prioritize your own well-being. Make sure that you're doing things that you know why you do it. There's a purpose to it. Don't just do because other people are doing. I would say it would be super resilience. Right? Super resilience to me is probably the superpower of superpowers, right? And we will all suffer failure and disappointment in life. If you don't suffer failure and disappointment now in school, you will suffer it sometime in the future. This is part of life, right? Life is really not going to give you everything that you want all the time, right? Even if you do achieve that in school, next time in relationships or in health or in career or in any part of life, you will have disappointments and you will have failures. What is most important is how we react to those failures, right? Whether or not we can pick ourselves up and say, okay, that didn't work out so well. Okay, I didn't get what I want. Okay, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But I can say I come back stronger. I come back having learned something, right? That is going to benefit me in the future. Now, if you can do that, then you really can be fearless in life. You don't have to be afraid of anything because you know whatever life throws at you, you just pick yourself up. Not only that, you learn, you get stronger, and you say, next time I'll do better. Next time I'll do something different. Next time I work smarter. I learn some different way of doing things. You get better and better and better, right? I tell you, if I can be very honest with you all, I hope that for none of you, you will look back on your time in RI and think those were the best days of my life. It shouldn't be, right? This should be the start. And every day, every year is better than the year before. But the only way you can do that is be resilient, right? And be courageous, right? Because life is long and many things will happen, but you can learn that, you'll be okay. I probably shouldn't say this, but one of my very fondest memories actually is skipping maths lecture to go to a hawker center with my friends to have hawker food and just hang out and talk. Please don't learn from me, don't do that, okay? But actually, that's part of my fondest memories, which is just hanging out in the canteen spending time with friends after school, and just chatting and getting to know one another. So actually, I think that's a very important part of school life, right? It's not just about the content that you learn, but it's also about the relationships that you form with other people. Yeah, so that would be my fondest memory. I think what I would tell incoming students most importantly is when you come in, don't think about this school as just a bunch of things to do, right? Think about coming into school and making good friends. I think that's super important for your happy JC life, but also just in general, things that you will remember. I think many of the things you remember, you will not remember the specific program, you will not remember the assignments, you won't remember the tests, you remember the people, right? And that's something that I think as I think back to my time as alumnus and I talk to friends who used to attend this school, what we remember the most is really the people. What you treasure the most is the friendships. What you really last 10, 20 years is really the community, right? So I would really encourage everybody to, if you're coming in, set aside the time. Don't be so busy running around doing this and that, taking multiple activities and all of that. Have a lot of time to just hang out, spend time with people and form those relationships. Yeah, so that's, I think, the most important advice I can give incoming students. So I hope you'll join us on the 14th of January for RI's open house. And come down and we hope that you'll join the Rafflesian family.